congratulations, oh Miles and Bacon. From the bottom of the pack, both of them finished up in last, headed off the Sacco ship, and now they get in after his souls and stew. What you gonna do? Just don't get complacent. It's the People's Pod, week 15. Collin, Aaron, Weaver make a bitchin' team. Drinking a bouquet, everything's okay, just can't quite replace them.
Disc in. Okay. Look at us. Two housemates doing Zoom from different places.
Look at us.
Just look at us.
Just look at us.
Here's Buckaroo.
Hey, cheers.
Clink.
To us. Oh my God. What is this bottle? What is it? What am I drinking? It's a good bottle.
Well, I am starting with a nice bouquet of Jameson whiskey, actually, before I downshift into a special holiday beverage I'll reveal later on. Fun fact, so we have that tray of giant square ice cubes.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of you who haven't seen or don't know, the giant whiskey ice cubes, we have a few of them after Sticks moved in. We have a 6-pack tray of giant cubes. So I went in there to get one, but somehow the ice froze in not a cube. It was like a 5-sided ice cube. So I took that one.
Trippy. I wonder if there was like a bubble.
It might have been like pushed up against something in there, like when it was not ice.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, our overly packed fridge and freezers right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We should probably do a cleaning sometime soon.
Anyway, pretty eventful weekend we had. Week 14 in the books, had some playoff hopes crushed, had some close calls in the Sacco semifinals. But before we get to that, why don't we revisit the action that we've been involved in since the last podcast?
Yeah. This past weekend was probably one of the better ones. Well, certainly, I think it was top 5 for lockdown weekends as far as those go. Friday night was a double date night, as you are aware, but our listeners aren't. Super cute. Ashley and I were going to go do the corn maze at Lane Farms.
This was actually last Wednesday.
Wow. Yeah. Cheapers.
But continue.
Last Wednesday. Thank you. Time. What is time anyways? So we were planning on doing that on our own, and then Collin was out shooting disc golf. I went out to watch him while eating lunch, and he's like, "Hey man, have you heard of anything or know anything about the corn maze?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, like planning on going there later." And Collin was like, "Wow, that's crazy. I was thinking about surprising Chelsea with this." And so then we did the whole we should do it together. And then it basically turned into double date with the corn maze. Everybody's wearing ugly sweaters. We had 2 teams. I was on team reindeer antlers with Ashley, and Collin was on team Christmas Santa hat. Yeah. We got to Lane Farms, and that place is super cool. There's a bunch of goats, a bunch of hogs.
Big hogs.
A bunch of donkeys, yeah. A bunch of trees from 3 feet tall all the way to 8 feet or whatever those massive trees were. And Ashley is super competitive, and so she challenged Collin and Chelsea to a race through the corn maze. And we're all competitive, we're all super down with this. I had never done a corn maze before, so I really wasn't sure what to expect. Ashley had said it'd probably take 10 to 19 minutes to do this thing. And so we're like, how do we do this? So I started a timer, and then Collin and Chelsea started 30 seconds after we started. But needless to say, Ashley's dragging me through this, and I'm just looking around oh, fun, it's dark out, so you can't really see much, and then the ground's all uneven. So I'm plodding my way through this, and she's dragging me. come on, we gotta go. And yeah, then, you know, 30 seconds go by, we get lost behind two turns, and then here comes Colin and Chelsea just sprinting like Usain Bolt, just charging past us with reckless abandon. And I was shook. I was caught off guard. The thought hadn't even occurred to me to just sprint in the dark through a foreign but that was super fun. Needless to say, smoked us. And then we got Indian takeout and watched Claws, the animated film.
So good.
So good. Highly recommended to everybody that has Netflix. It's like a fun take on the origin story of Santa Claus. And
I had a work meeting yesterday where, you know, on Zoom, like it takes people a few minutes for everyone to trickle into these meetings. And this one was like multiple departments, like 10 plus people. And so to kill time in the like beginning part where people are slowly trickling in, I was like, anybody see Claws on Netflix? That's really good. And then one of the engineers who lives in Toronto was like, oh yeah, I watched that one. I'm actually Jewish, but my girlfriend loves Christmas movies. And I actually liked it.
yeah, I did the same thing in every meeting. I did like my weekly recap, like, oh God, I watched Claus. You got to check it out. One of my coworkers, she like had already seen it 3 times, and because I had mentioned it again, so it's that good. Friday night was Real Rock. Chelsea and Colin bought Real Rock. It's basically kind of one of those like outdoor movie collages, so to speak, all focused around rock climbing. And it was just a super dope series of films. We were all thoroughly entertained. There was one called Black Ice, and it was just do you remember where they were from? Memphis, yeah. A bunch of black rock climbers go on an ice climbing trip, and it was just super moving. And we all like donated to their gym right after, just because like the gym is a nonprofit. It's free to enter. It's donation based entry, so pay what
Super
you want.
involved in the community too. Free meals and all that.
It's free toys during the holidays, stuff like that. So yeah, after the film, we all donated. That was super fun. It's called Red Rocks. Yeah, Red Rocks. I don't know.
Wait, the gym's called Memphis Rocks. MemphisRocks.org is where you can go to donate. Yeah, it was moving, not only the film, but corresponding with, actually, we got to back up a few hours. So Weaver, Sticks, and I went to play Evergreen. We left our house like 3:45, get to Evergreen like around 4, and a 3-person round probably takes hour to hour 15 minutes on like a clear course, but it was so packed. And so Weaver, Sticks, and I were trying to bounce around different holes to avoid groups of people, but then inevitably got stuck behind a ton of groups. And so we get to like the last 4 holes for us to play, which were actually the first 4 holes that we had skipped, and we're sprinting through as like twilight is coming on. Meanwhile, this is Weaver's second time using disc golf discs, so he's struggling, learning, evolving. But anyway, so we rush back home. We have to cook dinner. The ladies are doing their own thing. They're not there yet, so we're scrambling to cook dinner. Curtis did not join for disc golf because he had to wait for his volcano to arrive. The volcano did arrive. Kurt likes to say, I mean, this is factual too, that arrived at 4:20 p.m. So fast forward, we're watching Real Rock, which usually is just like the Banff Film Festival where you go and you watch it in Arlington Theater or a big theater, but because of the pandemic, obviously you cannot. So this year they released it online where you buy a ticket. You have the ticket for 72 hours and you have access to the stream for 72 hours over the weekend. So we watched it Friday night after eating the dinner that we made while drinking a ton of wine and nog and hitting the volcano. And so after the first film, which was like 45 minutes of watching these black people from Memphis who like have really rough lives go to Montana to ice climb and just get out in nature. Some people had never been out of Memphis, and just them sharing their stories of their life struggles. One of the main characters actually was shot when he was younger, and it like exited the bottom of his mouth. So he was missing teeth, and he was crying while he was like talking to the camera about his life experience. And so that was the build up until the very end, where they're like, hey, you can visit our website, memphisrocks.org, and donate anything you can if you want. So we were all so moved / inebriated that we all went to the website to donate. And yeah, it turned out to be a great evening.
Yeah.
And then for me, the next morning, Chelsea and I got up early. We left the U at 7 a.m. and drove to Joshua Tree to meet up with some of her rock climbing friends and go rock climbing. And I've like shown my housemates getting back, including you, how I'm scraped and banged up on my left side because I'd bashed through some rocks really unathletically on like the first of 3 climbs of the entire weekend. But I mentioned that because that's why I was out of service, right? So I didn't watch any of the football games until like the back half of the Bills Steelers on Sunday night after we got back. And that's why I wasn't active in the group meet. And last year, Chelsea and I went to Joshua Tree almost the same time, except it was a week later when I was in the semis of the league. And so I was pretty triggered last year that I left during that. So this year, when she brought it up, I was thinking to myself, okay, so I'm not in the playoffs. I could be in the Sackle game next weekend, and so that would be the important weekend to actually watch. And so I felt that I could leave this weekend, and whatever happened would happen. Yeah, so that's what I did over the weekend. Got back Sunday night. How was your weekend?
And well, you also survived because it was like super windy in Santa Barbara. I think all of California was feeling the wind. And
Yeah, it was pretty windy. Saturday night, we actually stayed in the back of Chelsea's CRV. She has like jerry-rigged a car bed dealio that now that it has an inflatable air mattress and a memory foam, it's actually pretty comfy. And so being inside there on the mattress, it was pretty toasty. So it wasn't like I was freezing in a tent.
That's good. Yeah, I was honestly concerned. Ashley kept looking up the temperature. She's like, "Oh my god, it's gotta be below 30 now," especially with this wind. Oh my god, I hope they're okay. So yeah, that's cool. And then we had to deal with the whole like group me blowing up multiple times. That one kind of messed with me a bit. Just going into Sunday, I felt like I had to reach out to multiple people. It's funny, with my new career path, I'm learning to be a facilitator in learning and development, right? So I had just taken a course on behaviors of inclusion, and then come out of that, and then our group me is just blowing up and people are hating each other and being aggressive. So I sent out that email with people getting triggered and leaving, and by Sunday I was really stoked to see everybody come back and like be jolly. There's still like some questionably like needling happening from certain suspects, but I'm happy that everybody's back, and I hope that we can move on from this like quitting the chat meta, because it really I don't think it makes anybody really feel good.
Yeah, so I have a few thoughts on that. I can see, so I think Pebbles left like earlier in the week, and I understood him leaving because it was leading up into like a playoff matchup that is, I mean, we like all put a lot of energy into this and we get emotionally invested, as we've talked about before. And so I can understand him wanting to kind of get away from the noise, and because sometimes it can be like some frustrating triggers that go on. And so I understood him leaving. And then I actually left during Monday night's game because Stu accused me of not knowing what collusion means. And I got triggered myself, although I did come back because I wanted to post a GIF of the coin, because Blood Diamond Bill was about to win all the way up until Lamar Jackson was done shitting.
Oh my god.
What was I going to say? Yeah, we should it would be nice if we were able to not get under each other's skin so much that we feel the need to leave the group me. And actually, I was talking to Brad about this today, and he said that sometimes he just mutes the group me, and then he comes back, and there'd be like over 100 messages, and he just like scrolls to the bottom, and then it's like back like he didn't miss anything, because I mean there are also like a lot of nonsense going on in there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the better route to take is mute.
Yeah, I fully support the muting. I do it myself. Just, I don't know. The whole like show up, blow up, and leave is not a good, not a healthy thing. But really, more importantly, is like we're all suffering in this pandemic, and we're allegedly, the 12 best friends hanging out, right? So we should be able to support each other and not tear each other down. And that's kind of what fantasy football is for me. It's a chance to be competitive with my friends, and also I have this outlet with you guys. And I love you all. I hate you all, and I hope that we can be nicer to each other moving forward.
We do have a fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, we're like 25 minutes in.
I was gonna say the atonement, the atonement crawlback is pretty funny. Stu accepted it. The others that have yet to do their atonement for that, Pebbles, Max, and Scott, and myself. I'm in the queue, right? So I'm what is that, fourth in line? So I'm ready to do my atonement shotgun once the guys ahead of me do their atonement shotguns. But I want to visit the Monday night scare. I had a Monday night scare, okay? So both Max and my teams are pretty baloney. So this actually is a fun, not for me, but for the rest of the league to know. So going to Joshua Tree, obviously I would not have service. I wanted to play Jamison Crowder against Seattle because Seattle has been pretty bad against receivers, and Crowder came off of a 2-touchdown performance. But on Thursday, he popped up as limited in practice, and then he had a questionable tag going into the weekend. Devontae Parker was playing the Chiefs with Tua, and I don't trust Tua for shit. And so, like when Fitzpatrick is playing, Parker is golden. When Tua is playing, Parker goes like 2 for 7 targets with maybe he'll score a touchdown. He hasn't scored double digits with Tua as a quarterback. Those are my 2 options that I was evaluating. Now, I did have Rager in the wings, but I've been too pussy to play him. So Rager was not an option. Before I got into the national park, I put in Parker. So I was like, look, Crowder is questionable. His game is at 1:25. Parker plays at 10 a.m. I got to put in Parker. At least he'll play. I get out of the park later on, reviewing the games. Parker has 0 points because he pulled his hamstring
immediately.
And so Crowder only scored like 1.7. He was also still injured, but it literally was like, would have been better served not to make that tinkering switch because I got 0 points anyway. But then I was like, oh, Max's team is so god-awful. It's not going to matter. It's just not going to matter. Because Miles Sanders finally had a Miles Sanders week. He had 28 points. Ridley had over 20 points. Buckaroo Allen hadn't played to this point, so I'm like, I am golden. Other people were middling. Oh, my God. I don't need to middle on all my decisions. Point being, I was very confident going into Monday night because I had an over 50-point lead and Max only had 2 guys left who, while they did combine for like 47 points against the Browns in their first matchup, I just didn't think it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then, Lamar Jackson fucking has a phenomenal game. He runs over 25 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did narrowly miss Mark Andrews on that long touchdown pass.
That would have done it. That would have been it.
I know. It would have done it. And then Lamar leaves the game, and I'm like, oh, sweet. It's over with. Then he comes back, throws a miracle to Hollywood Brown, which, by the way, God, it was so funny looking at Bill's response to all that in the group me, and then watching all the drops that Hollywood Brown had in that game, like 5 drops. But then I was like, what the fuck? And so then I put in the group me, like, as the Ravens are going down for the win, and like if overtime would have happened, I definitely would have lost. I was like, how about we just have a nice Justin Tucker game-winning field goal? and it happened, and I survived barely. But I was sweating bullets after like being very smug going into the matchup.
Yeah, that's so funny. I wish that I was with you to watch the chaos happen. Just being all smug going into Monday night, and then slowly have that devolve as the night went on.
Almost all the way through the first half, Mark Andrews had 0 points. So I was like, okay, Lamar's going off, but Andrews has 0 points. And then he like started nickel and diming, had some longer ones. He had a super long one in the second half to set up someone else's touchdown. And then, that just long pass that Lamar missed him. Oh, my God.
That would have been a 2 bonus pointer. Would have sucked for you. Yeah, that was great. I loved O'Malley, the text that came through. Literally the play before the Marquise
Kevin's
Brown.
2021.
Yeah, Kevin's 2021. I hate fantasy. I'm never playing again. And then, like, I was on the same time as Scott, and I think all the cable viewers where I saw it happen. And then Scott, oh my God, O'Malley, probably gave it away, but it's fun.
I actually went to go to the bathroom during that time, and then I saw that all come through, and I was like, the one time I choose to go to the bathroom, and then I hear Brad freak out from the living room.
Yeah. So epic. I loved that both of you guys' matchups were, like, obviously they were super relevant, but that yours got relevant as well. That's why we play the game, folks.
So, yeah, speaking of matchups, we just talked about those two. I pull it out against Max. Stu and myself all actually picked Max, whereas you and the coin picked me, and I won that one. In the O'Malley and Bill, all 3 podcasters picked O'Malley, and the coin picked Bill. And the coin was almost right, but got the first L of the season. The other matchups, so Pebbles and Bacon, that was the game of the week going into it. Both teams that had a pretty comparable bush and had strong weeks previously, and then it just ended up Bacon whooping on Pebs. I had a little bit of satisfaction of sending that dead horse gif into the group me. But what were your thoughts on that one? You actually had picked Pebbles to win too.
Yeah. I don't think anybody saw Derrick Henry blowing up for 40 points, 35 points. Let's see. Oh, did Bacon – I remember putting stock in Bacon choosing the right quarterback. Tom Brady over Jared Goff. He got it right. And he won. That's what it all came down to, choosing the right quarterback.
I mean, I think he could have gone with any quarterback. So, let's see what went wrong with Pebs. Deebo Samuel goes down, which sucks.
Deebo and
Harris
both got hurt, or like
right. Yeah, Noah Fant had but God, even if it all had gone well, Koo has a pedestrian game for Koo. I mean, you can't expect to put up 155. Holy shit! I mean, Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry. The double tight end continues to work for Bacon week in and week out. And then, I mean, the Rams defense set the tone on Thursday night against the Patriots.
Yeah. The old Thursday night defense start is a sure thing. I actually went back in time and checked out Bacon's double tight end play. He's done it like 4 out of the last 6 weeks, and only one time, going back to like week 8, I think, or 7, did he make the wrong choice. Like, he could have subbed in a different player and would have scored better. These 2 tight ends have been doing work. The number 3 and 4 tight end on the season. It's fucking bullshit. I remember trying to trade for him and it just not working out.
You Hawk and Cock and Atonement both crushing it. It was funny because for a few weeks, Bacon had 3 defenses. And so it's like, if you have fewer options on your bench to tinker into your flex spot, you're not tinkering yourself out of points. So there's something there that he has. Stu, myself, and the coin all took Bacon in that one, and Bacon wins in an absolute landslide. last matchup, Adam versus Scott. Both Stu and I took Scott. You and the coin took Adam. This one was close. Than Pebbles and Bacon one.
Close.
Closer. I was saying that because Adam had a good week.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam would have beat both Max and myself. So it sucks to be. I mean, that always happens where one matchup in the bracket has the ho hum teams, the other one has some teams that are competing.
Yeah. Concerning things for Adam, the Josh Jacobs queue, the Melvin Gordon queue, Ben Roethlisberger has not been himself recently.
I remember talking about that before on our last pod with Stu, where I said he hasn't scored 20 points in 3 games.
Yeah. And, Did Adam pay his debt, his shot debt?
For what?
Matt Ryan scoring more than Big Ben.
Oh, I don't remember seeing it, but I also didn't remember seeing Stu doing his shotgun for me. So I don't know if I'm the right authority to talk about it.
It's all right. Adam will hit us up in the chat in the comments section and let us know.
Dude, Gesicki putting up a third double-digit week in a row and actually 21 points, 2 touchdowns, dies on Adam's bench, whereas Ebron only puts up 6. Then Old Man Rivers also outscores Bathroomlessburger. Actually, I mean, you can marinate this on a lot, but there's a lot of points left on Adam's bench that would have made this matchup much closer.
It wouldn't have mattered, though.
I mean, he's getting 11 points from Chicago defense. He's getting 6 points from Rivers, 15 from Gesicki.
Still not enough.
Well, that's like 30 points right there.
He lost by 47 or 43. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get boomed on, and there's not much more you can do. That happened to both Adam and
Pebs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Scott moves on. Yeah. So that was that week. So the coin went 2-2. So the percentage dropped significantly from the 100% picks that it had a few weeks ago.
Is it 100% now to 75? Is that what the math is?
So let's see. It was 6-0. Now it's 8-2. So no, 80%.
Pretty close. One thing of note, this is the team, Scott's team, that we were so fearful of all season long. And this is without Julio Jones. He put up 157 without Julio Jones.
Dude, Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Kareem Hunt.
My God. And Rojo. Fucking Rojo. Rears his ugly head.
Now has a broken finger.
Yeah.
And Adam has Fournette. And then we can chat about that later. The upcoming matchups. But yeah, exactly. This is did anyone choose Scott to be their Sacco? No. Yeah, we were talking about it, as you said. This is the team. Scott's positioned himself in a way, and this is with Taysom Hill at quarterback.
The team is good, man. You just got fucked. My team's good, man. I just got fucked.
Yes, me too. My team also is good. I just got fucked.
Yeah. That is the theme of fantasy. My team is good. I just got fucked.
So pretty funny. 3 semifinalists. O'Malley, Brad, and Bacon. Everyone was talking shit on their drafts at the draft.
Especially
and now they're in the semis.
I need to publicly apologize to Bacon for all of the times that I talk shit. Please don't come and murder me.
So Bacon actually had an unfair advantage. He was the only sober one during the draft.
Yeah, though he was also disadvantaged in that he was parked in front of who knows where, getting distracted by pedestrians walking by.
And actually, he did say he had a full bladder and he couldn't leave.
Yeah, I think he put down 6 LaCroix. So there's an asterisk next to that advantage. I think his mental state might have still been a little blurred.
Any more thoughts about this last week? How'd you feel not playing? Did you have some enjoyment watching the games? Were the storylines that we had talked about last week, the
I had
Sacco Ship semis and the Pebbles and Bacon, what was going on? How was it for you?
It was great. I had a great time. No stress, man. I got to just enjoy the drama that was unfolding throughout the day. It was just me and Kurt watching at the U, and he's obviously not in the league, but he's very invested in our friendships. So he, asking me how people were doing, what was going on, and so I felt like kind of like an announcer in my own right, just giving him the updates, like, oh shit, that's Devontae Parker is out for Collin. He's gonna be freaking out once he finds out. Hamming it up in that regard. It was a pretty great day, stress free. All the boys came back and grouped me. I didn't have to worry about anything. The storylines were awesome. That's what football's all about. Maybe I shouldn't play fantasy. Maybe I should just enjoy.
No, then football will be boring as shit.
Actually,
who cares if the Dolphins are playing the Jaguars then?
I have been trying to shift my mentality to like have a horse in every race, which is such a cool thing, versus like, okay, my Niners aren't playing till the evening slot. I don't have to watch football all day. But actually, my work has fantasy leagues, and that's kind of how I felt like I was in that world where I was cheering for fantasy teams that weren't, like I didn't have any horses in the race, but I had like my buddy's horse that I chose, so that was a fun, different take on it.
Do you need a refill on your drink?
I just reopened. Yeah, I'm chilling.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, I need a refill, and this podcast will be brought to you by Evan Williams Eggnog. Original Southern eggnog. Eggnog. When you want to drink a really thick drink, that's festive. That gets you drunk. Thick. Okay, so kind of funny thick story. I should shake this. One of my clients is California Dental Association, and they have a partnership with a group called the Dental Insurance Company, TDIC. And in my notes that I've written for them, a few of the acronyms, and I don't even know how this happened, but I wrote THIC multiple times in a document. Thick. And then I went through and read, I was like, wait a second, they're not thick.
Solid.
Really great people to work with.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been so surprised listening to you and your work banter and how rated R it is. It's so funny because, yeah, you've been working with these people for a long time now. There was a little hiatus in there, but like the relationship is there from the past. So it's just like, I remember your first week back on the official gig, and you're like, you had dropped an F-bomb in a meeting. I was like, Collin, at the new job? What are you doing?
Well, I mean, you got the internal versus external meetings. I'm not usually dropping F-bombs to clients.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like every company. Like I know, I'm sure with Appeal, you have the same relationships. There's a bunch of people just like us. Working from home.
It's honestly, I haven't gotten to that level yet. Having onboarded remotely, like I haven't been able to go to happy hours that I normally would have, and I don't get to fist bump people near the coffee machine. Like Appeal has kegs on campus that I haven't been able to drink out of yet, right? Like, who are the other drinkers at work? I don't know. So it's very interesting you bring that up, because like you had all those happy hour bonding in the parking lot shots that you
dumpster shots.
Yeah. And I'm still like, I'm several months in, but I still haven't taken any dumpster shots. So yeah, I'm like, I feel behind in that regard. I got to start. You can only do so much through Slack.
Do you have a virtual holiday party that's coming up?
We have a meeting booked all day long with my like department on Friday, but no announcement for any sort of party yet. I organized a Secret Santa with my immediate team, but we'll see.
Dude, by the way, there are so many packages here for you that arrived in the last 24 hours. There's like 5.
Oh, fun. Jeez, it's the longest I've stayed away in forever, and now I have packages. It's Christmas! Yay!
Okay, you ready for this?
You ready?
I have a bunch of rapid fire questions for you.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, how fun.
Okay, let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that I have written down. Maybe I'll throw some more out there. First question, eggnog or red wine?
Red wine.
Second question, running back or wide receiver?
Running back.
Lockett or Metcalf?
Metcalf.
Inside fire or outside fire?
Inside.
Ridley or Julio?
Ridley.
Dak or Joe Burrow?
Joe.
Juju or Deontay?
Fucking pass.
All right, we'll come back to that one. Christmas or New Year's Eve?
Christmas.
Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
Fuck. Ooh, that's not fair because Star Wars has so much more content. I love them both so much.
I know some people that would be aggravated that you said Star Wars has more content. There's a lot of literature behind just the movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of literature. I've never read the Silmarillion, but like Star Wars cinematically has so much more, right? That's really what I mean.
Today is the 3-year anniversary of The Last Jedi, and I plan to watch it stoned as fuck after this podcast.
Very cool. Actually, Ashley has not. She wants to rewatch the whole series, so that'll be coming to us. Yeah.
For all you non-U members, I brought another Star Wars puzzle home from Thanksgiving, and so now we're doing a third Star Wars puzzle on our glass table. Underneath the glass there are 2 Star Wars puzzles, which adds an extra level of difficulty when you're trying to place a puzzle piece into a puzzle on top of a puzzle of the same material.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go Star Wars just because of all
Nice.
the extra available content.
Okay, Juju or Deontay?
Fuck you. I'm going with my boy Juju.
Cool. Okay, last question. Sex or blowjob?
Sex.
Okay. Hey, nice. So that was your rapid fire 10 questions. Hope you all enjoyed
Good
that.
question. I had to answer wisely. I don't want to show her. She's got earbuds in though, luckily.
Yeah, no, I feel you. All right, okay, wink twice if your answer would have been different.
I looked at it too much. I gave it away.
Hi, Ash.
You can say hi back.
Hello. Now I want to know.
Nope.
What did I miss?
It's
Actually,
okay.
I'm just saying today is the 3-year anniversary of one of the Star Wars movies that came out, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi came out 3 years ago. Yeah. Wow. That's shocking. No. What? No. Really?
Unless I'm thinking of The Rise of Skywalker.
It has to be. It cannot be The Last Jedi. What?
Yeah. This is I'm absolutely right.
You are.
So that movie gets a lot of hate, and I gotta
Oh.
say, when I first saw it, there's a lot of like big parts of that movie that I had issue with. But there are a lot of like crazy moments. Like the throne room scene is absolutely awesome, and then the light speed through the cruiser also is like a jaw drop moment.
I realized why I was so confused. You said The Last Jedi, but I was thinking of episode 3. Fucking what?
Oh,
which
the
one?
Return of the Jedi?
No, Return of the Jedi.
Oh, excuse me, that's 6. You're talking about the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, yeah. And then for some reason, The Last Jedi just felt like the third in a trifecta.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking stupid. But I agree with you. That throne room scene is probably top 3 most favorite cinematic moment for me.
He fucking chucks the lightsaber, he catches it, and right
Yeah.
through the dude's helmet. Oh my god, so badass.
Very cool. But then, like, also Snoke, like this big baddie from movie 1. Who is he? Super mysterious, and then he's just cut halfway through the second movie in a trilogy. What the hell is that? Terrible.
There's a lot of dysfunction because they switched directors, and so the new director was trying to go in a different direction, and you can tell that by all the verbiage of like splitting from the past and like letting things go. And as you saw, he was going somewhere else, but then they brought in the original director. So it was J.J. Abrams in Force Awakens, Ryan Johnson in the Last Jedi, and then back to J.J. Abrams. And so there was a lot of this going on.
Yeah, no, totally. It's super apparent. I'll agree with you. There's certain highlights in that film that are just super legendary. And then there's just, it's just one of these movies, you know? You just feel so good. You're peaking. And then, like, there's the casino scene for who fucking knows why.
Yeah.
And then you see some of the deleted scenes. Like, they luckily cut a naked, like, there was supposed to be a bathroom scene in the casino where they saw a naked alien, but just stumbled into it for comedic relief, you know? And then they like paused.
Very Disney.
Bop, and then ran away,
Yeah,
you know?
God damn it.
Yeah. Thank goodness that new direction wasn't. It was like one of those thick green. Do you remember the lady singer? She's a giant green.
Yeah. The skinny lips.
Skinny lips. Yeah, it was like a male version of that alien. Jeez, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. It's a travesty.
So another fun Star Wars factoid. We have our tree up, right? We put that TIE fighter ornament in it. Today I was furiously and feverishly cleaning my room. I'm trying to make a way for a desk. My mom gave me countless ornaments, boxes. I have one box of all Star Wars ornaments. And I just randomly put my hand in, picked one out. It was Luke from The Empire Strikes Back, but it's him with this blue lightsaber, and so he's on the tree now.
Cool. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would have been a really fun thing to do, like an advent calendar. Like each day you add a new Star Wars ornament.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this house we like late to the tree.
Even if you left it like on the mantle or something, I think
that's true.
I'm still down.
I mean, these are like 6-inch ornaments. Maybe not 6 inch, like 4-inch size ornaments. They're fatties.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think Luke Skywalker would be happy to talk about the Week 15 matchups we have here.
Yeah, it's time.
And the intrigue in the league. So why don't you start us off?
Oh man, I'll start us off with a little collusion. What's the difference between giving fantasy advice in a podcast and giving fantasy advice in GroupMe to you? Because you were very anti.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting question. And as you point this out, I see the dichotomy that I'm living. I agree with Stu with the podcast where we're supposed to talk about the matchups and our thoughts about them. So when we give some, I mean, I don't know if I'd call it advice. I would give it I would say suggestions or our thoughts. And I mean, if you look at my fantasy season, I've made a lot of wrong choices, right? So this is just like what I think is the best choice at the time. This year, it has not gone right a lot of the time for me. But I do like to talk about it. I think as it's the podcast, we can talk about players and matchups and what we would prefer to do in some situations. And then it's up to the listeners to do it or not. Not everyone in the league listens to this podcast, so I don't think that all of our advice is being heard. I do find a difference between us doing the podcast and giving our opinion versus someone soliciting advice in the group me. I don't like the solicitation of advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds a little weird for sure. Hey, guys.
Oh, I thought you meant my opinion. Okay, yeah, the solicitation does sound weird.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of like asking people for advice. I don't really tweet at experts or anything like that.
I also don't trust anybody else in our league for shit. No, I don't trust them that they know better than me. That's what I mean.
Dude, after we traded the whole Philip Lindsay versus Cam Newton, I had such distrust and borderline hate for you after that trade because
he was coming off a 20-point game. I wasn't trying to take advantage of you.
I'm just talking about like trust in other like opponents and like league members. You know, like if O'Malley proposes me a trade, I legitimately want nothing to do with it just because I had like he never makes a deal that he's not winning, right? And so inherently I feel like I'm getting fleeced when I interact with him. And so I don't know, it's just interesting that the trust thing with the league. Advice. It's super funny because I hold Adam in super high esteem still from his like dominant days. I know it's been a while since the curse, but
when was that?
Unrecorded, pre-text, pre-internet.
He on the trophy? I think he is on the trophy. He might be the first name on the trophy.
Possible.
We'll have to ask Stu to double check. Stu, can you throw in the group me if Adam is the first name on the trophy? I feel like he is on there.
Get our fact checkers on it. And then as far as trades go, I've never had more fun negotiating than with Max and Pebbles. I think that they are super good faith negotiators. I think Bill is up there as well. I agree with you. No trust in the league. But yeah, soliciting advice, it's bullshit. Hey, who should I start in my matchup? Fuck that.
Guys, you got to help me. I really need this win.
Yeah, I really need this win. Fuck that. Trash. I'm sorry, I didn't mean baby. And then to me, there's no difference in giving fantasy advice in the podcast and giving fantasy advice in GroupMe. That's kind of where I stand. You can analyze it, and that's kind of like I think some of the content that I tried to make when I was like fully committed to this was like trying to avoid that kind of talk where I was just going into like player performances, surprises, you know, like can you believe that Chase Claypool is the number 13 receiver on the year, stuff like that, you know.
People are listening to hear our opinions on their matchups.
Totally. Yeah. And that's where we just are a little bit out of sync, and that's totally fine. That's what makes it interesting, right? If we were in cahoots the whole time, it'd be fucking boring. Nobody wants to hear that. So now that we've discussed all that, into the matchups, I'm going to start with Bacon versus Stu. I feel terrible now for Stu. His team has been so dominant, and he's coming.
Wait, can you repeat that phrase? You feel terrible for Stu?
Yeah, I feel terrible for Stu. It's kind of funny, yeah. Wait, what?
I know I completely derailed you, but it's just a phrase I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, it's when you are the lead horse and you just run out of steam at the finish line. That's exactly what's happening to Stu's team here. And this is actually kind of funny. It reminds me of flat ball, fantasy basketball. Brad had like a crazy lead heading into the like COVID lockdown stuff, right? And arguably he was the best team by far. But anything can happen going into the playoffs, and you can lose randomly at 1 week. So that's why I just give you the money as a commissioner, right? And that's what's happening to Stu's team. It's combusting. I'm choosing Bacon here because CMC is doubtful. Cam Akers, luckily, is taking over the starting job, but Bacon's been booming, and I'm gonna ride the hot hand right now. I think that this matchup is probably gonna be. I think it's gonna be very high scoring. I think Stu's gonna surprise, but Bacon's gonna pull it out. That's my vote of confidence. Yeah.
A lot of thoughts. I agree. I think Bacon is going to win this game. I'm sad to say that because I want my early season pick to go off all the way and make it and then validate my my choice. But like many picks I made earlier in the year, that was dependent on health of those players, right?
Yeah.
I thought at this point that CMC would be back for weeks. No one knew that David Johnson would have COVID after getting concussed. Like that was not a factor in anything. So those two things definitely have given Stu a big hit to his team. Akers being the lead back is exceedingly frustrating for me, but is kind of a diamond in the rough for Stu. I was actually looking forward to Stu having to wrestle with a bunch of decisions with his roster. I wish he had a fully healthy roster so we could watch him wrestle between David Johnson and Cam Akers, although after Cam Akers' performance last Thursday, maybe it wouldn't have been such of a decision. But he still has to choose between Deshaun Watson versus Indianapolis or Justin Herbert versus the Raiders on Thursday. And that's something I think that is going to be fun to keep note of. Right now, their Bush is within a half a point of each other, and Indianapolis is a better defense, but Deshaun Watson has been lighting it up. So that'll be interesting to see where Stu goes. But yeah, like you said, his team is a little banged up. McCaffrey's not going to play, so he's got to throw somebody else in there. He now has both Higgins, which earlier in the season he said that he wanted to rename his team if he did get both Higgins. Now he does, so we'll see if that actually comes to be. Did you get way darker behind me? What is going on here?
You're beautiful, baby.
Bacon's team is unstoppable. I think Bacon is going to – I do not think this is going to be a close matchup. I mean, just like going down. So Brady versus Atlanta, great matchup. Tyreek Hill versus New Orleans is going to be a shootout. Thielen versus Chicago. Even though Chicago is pretty good at defensively, Justin Jefferson the last time they played scored like 17 points, and so I think Thielen could also match that. McKissick is the lead dog in Washington without Gibson. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. And then the Ravens against Jacksonville. Tucker's going to put up points. And then the Rams against the Jets. The Rams just put up over 20 points against the Patriots. Now they're playing the Jets. So I think Bacon is – like if you were looking at both these teams that are here, Bacon's team has been going like this and Stu's team has been going like this. So this is like – I think Bacon is going to cream Stu.
Yeah.
And that's my pick. And let's see what the coin says.
Yeah, totally. I love that both teams have the option of starting the wrong quarterback.
Right. So Bacon now goes from 3 defenses to 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
All right. Bacon is heads, Stu is tails. Can I do this without you here? Oh, that actually was a flip. Heads. The coin takes Bacon.
Oh, man. That's exciting.
All right.
I love it when me and the coin are on the same side.
All 3 of us take Bacon, so I guess that means that Stu is going to win.
Yeah. Announcer curse.
Where do you want to go to next?
Obviously, the other side of the bracket. Gosh, that looks so refreshing. I'm drinking spicy mango cart.
Oh, the mango cart.
Yeah,
that stuff's good.
And it's spicy actually, so it's like a michelada almost. And so like each drink just gives me a little zing, little something extra.
I really like drinking Nog, but it definitely feels like it's adding to my December abs.
Yes. You're getting a bunch of protein, fat, calories, carbs, and liquor. It's like a meal. While you're doing that, Gascon versus Panbluce. I'm picking O'Malley in this one. I
Wow.
am uncertain that Brad's Band-Aid receivers are going to be able to pull this one out. Ooh, John Brown, IRR.
Yeah, he's slated to return.
Is he slated to return? Or did it just happen? Anyways, John Brown is fucking dope. All right.
To return. Oh, the 3-week window opens
Yeah,
up. Okay.
he can start practicing. Getting the Brad getting the bye was super huge for his team. It gave Godwin another week recovery for his finger, a little bit closer for Drew Brees to come back, but it doesn't look like he's coming back. Kamara has been performing recently, so the Taysom Hill curse has kind of gone away. But I think O'Malley's just been booming as well. They're both booming. This is effectively a coin flip. There's no real logic behind it. I'm picking O'Malley. If we're being honest, like I can talk, I can say whatever the fuck I want. I'm curious if he rolls with Hollywood Brown again, or if he gets away from that roller coaster.
Yeah. It will be interesting for him. I mean, he has a bunch of guys on his bench who did perform in Russell Gage and Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis was someone who I was monitoring for the past few weeks and thought about doing the old, like, after Thursday night game, picking him up, but did not. And regret it because he scored a touchdown in 3 straight games. He's a big player, big player.
Taking advantage of John Brown being out.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree with you that the bye was big for Brad. However, his team put up like 147 points or more, like whatever they put up last week. Like, yeah, he fucking stomped. Like, we had some big 147 points. So that actually was the 3rd highest score last week. But I agree with your pick. I think O'Malley also is going to win. And to give a little more analysis than just feeling.
I got a feeling. Woo-hoo.
That tonight's going to be a good night. Dude, so that came out the summer that was like summer 2009 when the Max and Bros moved in the Fortuna house. That was the same summer, and Max was obsessed with that song.
It sounds great.
Yeah, it was great. Anyway, so O'Malley's going to win because Mostert got an MRI this week, yesterday, and so I think he's on the wrong side of questionable. Brad has McKinnon, but McKinnon is in the doghouse for some reason. And O'Malley has Jeff Wilson. So if Mostert goes out, O'Malley's going to get that starting running back for the Niners, which he could swap out Hollywood Brown for. But even before that, I agree I'm not sold on Brad's receivers. He's definitely been riding high recently because of them. It finally looks like T.Y. is right and Philip Rivers is feeding him. Godwin has the finger issue, and I think the Bucs aren't going to have to work that hard to get a lead on the Falcons, and so they're going to be more running than passing. Jefferson went off against Chicago for O'Malley last time. I think it happens again. Dalvin Cook is really good. Actually, this is really funny because when I played O'Malley and I just needed like a handful of points out of Darnell Mooney and he had Cook and Jefferson going, it was the same thing. The Vikings were playing the Bears on Monday night and I lost. Now O'Malley, Vikings are playing the Bears. He has Montgomery who's coming off a couple 20-point games. Cook is amazing. Jefferson is coming into his own. I think Hollywood Brown has a good game against Jacksonville because they're not special. Arizona defense against Philadelphia is going to be interesting. I don't know. I do think it is going to be closer than the other matchup, but I think that Brad's team has a few more question marks than O'Malley's team does. So with that, I'm going with O'Malley.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger storylines here for me is the tight end mismatch. I think that Kelsey over Ingram is going to be like a 15-point handicap, which is funny because we're both choosing against the handicap. So that's kind of gnarly.
Fun fact, O'Malley finally dropped Fulgham. So
Yeah.
happy trails to you. Fulgham actually was someone that I asked for Cam, I think, and he wouldn't do. Or not Cam, excuse me, Edmonds. O'Malley and I made the Crowder for Edmonds trade, and I was like, what about Fulgham? He's like, can't do it. And Fulgham's been dog shit for a while. So thanks for saying no, O'Malley.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, Fulgham was like leading the league in the weeks that he had his shot.
He was averaging like 13 targets a game.
Yeah, and just leading the league in reception yards as well, I want to say. But maybe he was just a one-trick pony and people figured out how to deal with him. Or maybe he's suffering from an injury or something.
I think it's what Stu said when she started getting the number one corner attention. Can't hang. And now there's so many mouths to feed in that offense with Rager back and Alshon Jeffrey back and Goddard being a big piece. Ertz is healthy too. Like,
just a big person, that Goddard.
Point time. All right. O'Malley is heads and Brad is tails.
I'm still butthurt about Goddard.
Tails. Coin takes Brad. And you're taking O'Malley, as am I.
Yeah. Coin is a good pick. Both these teams are so good. I don't think my team's good anymore. I take it back.
You want to talk about your matchup next?
No.
Okay, then let's talk about – well, okay, should we say the best for last and the Sacco ship? We got to talk about that one last.
Yeah, that's fine, since it is for last place. We're pushing an hour 10, so we can blow through these other ones. Who cares, right?
Dude, last week at an hour 27, it was fine, okay? People want the content.
People are craving the content.
All right, we'll do my matchup then, okay? So I'll go. It's me versus Evan. I am taking Evan in this one. So I picked against myself last week, and I earnestly thought that Max would win. I'm taking Evan because Evan's running backs are phenomenal. Okay, he has Chubb, who is on one, and Aaron Jones, who although Jones is now splitting some time, he still is really talented. And the Packers are playing the Panthers, so I think Jones will be fine in that one. Also for Evan, Mahomes is going to be in a shootout, I think, with the Saints. So he's going to put Mahomes-like numbers. And Ayuk is like the only healthy receiver that the Niners have now. So he was already crushing it. And now without anybody else there, he's going to – like, I think – what did he get? Something like 16 targets last game? 16. So his last 3 games they played – 14 targets, 9 targets, 16 targets. And now they're playing Dallas, and they fucking suck.
Yeah.
And on my end, my running back situation is still a shit show, right? So Gus Edwards has produced in back-to-back games, so I'm heavily leaning on putting him into my lineup, which probably means he's going to put up like less than 2 points. And like beyond that, like Parker is probably not going to play, so I got to find someone to throw in there. And my guys are either injured or not that good. Silver lining though, with Melvin Gordon being questionable, Philip Lindsay may actually be startable this week. So I haven't started him since we made that trade, and I basically just acquired him on the off chance that Gordon were to sit. He hasn't sat since that trade, and I haven't started him. And Lindsay hasn't put up more than, I don't know, like 7 points. So he put 8.2 left. I don't know how many weeks was that. That might have actually been after we made the trade. Any case, I think I just have the overall weaker team. it was nice to see Ridley break out last week, as with Sanders, but Eagles are dysfunctional, so I'm not really banking on Sanders repeating. Yeah.
Um,
I'll
yeah.
take that.
Fun fact about Ayuk: he is the 5th highest scoring rookie receiver through 10 games, the first 10 games of his career.
All
It's
time
kind
or
of-
just the
All time, yeah. It's a little bit skewed because I need a charger. My computer is 4% from death. Thank you.
that's not good preparation. What is that?
Not good preparation. Yeah, I left my charger at home. Yeah, through first 10 career games, he's the 5th highest scoring receiver. Super cool. And obviously it's because Kittle got hurt and then Debo's been hurt. And then, he caught COVID. He started the season off with an injury. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, I thought that was a super fun fact. Your team is in shambles. Evan's team is objectively good. So I also chose him. His running backs have been elite. I've been on team Evan forever. And I'm going to keep going with it. This is good podcasting.
So I've been waiting for fucking Mixon to be available to use. I didn't drop him or trade him because I didn't want any like championship team having him in the wings. And now he's probably just not going to play the rest of the season, which I should have seen the writing on the wall because last year Zach Taylor, who's the head coach of the Bengals, basically strung everybody along about AJ Green's status, and AJ Green ended up not playing at all. So I should have foreseen that as well because the Bengals are not playing for anything, especially now with Burrow out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think Evan wins this one. But I got lucky last week, so maybe my luck is turning around.
Gosh, that would be unfortunate. You poor unfortunate soul.
I would much rather get 7th than 8th, 9th, or 10th. So here's a fun discussion. How do you feel about all-time historical placing? Because I put a high stock in that because before this season I was like up there. I might have been the first. Never won a championship, but my all-time historical average was super high.
That smug face of yours.
I mean, smug in the fact that I've gotten 4th like 4 times, and while everyone else seems to go like 1st, 12th, 2nd, 9th, like this. So that, I mean, everyone, I bet you there's more people that are like on the mean, of the league around 6. So anyway,
Yeah.
I care about it. So how do you feel about it?
I, being the opposite of you in the 8-9 range, generally hate it because I always feel like I'm on the cusp of the playoffs. I'm always like 7 or 8, and just like I have 1 or 2 things go wrong, and it just and then it's just consolation bracket. Who fucking cares about that? Ugh. It just, I don't like being bad at things, and it just shows I'm bad at fantasy football apparently. Despite the fact that I don't feel like I'm bad, I'm just unlucky. Ugh.
Coin time.
Who knew
Okay,
George
so-
Kittle was hurt? Who knew?
Should have drafted Kelsey
Should have drafted Carson.
or Carson. Collins heads, Evans tails. Dude, as we're doing this, I'm expecting myself to flip this quarter into my beverage. Heads. Coin says heads. Okay, so coin takes Colin. The podcasters take Evan. All right, let's talk about your matchup. Who you
The
got?
Coin needs to go home. It's drunk.
We'll see.
Let's see. Suck Up has the COVID. Rojo, broken finger. Julio Jones, still questionable. And it's against Tampa Bay. My quarterback situation blows. Man, I get Pittsburgh against Cincinnati, so they'll probably put up 20. I'm taking myself. Dobbins is finally becoming the running back that I believed him to be.
Gus Edwards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but J.K. Dobbins got 13 carries, and he was like, his snap percentage is 67% or something crazy. Like, it's cool that Gus Edwards is getting some of those looks, but it's Dobbins' backfield now. It's kind of crazy how Mark Ingram was just annihilated. He got hurt for one game, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. It's nuts.
It reminds me of Fitz Magic. It was like planned obsolescence.
Yeah. Oh, man. This actually is kind of a tough pick to make. I mean, Scott's team is now Scott's team. He just came off putting up 157. We were talking about how his receivers are getting double-digit targets, and then Diggs goes off. Thomas has double-digit points. 8 receptions on 8 targets for 84 yards. Kareem Hunt has a 10-point bush against the Giants. That seems incredibly low. Scott's bush is lower now because he doesn't have a kicker, but that will change.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will change. Julio Jones could play. I mean, he just had the week off, and he seems to be alternating games, playing and not playing.
Like Greg, he puts up double digits every other week, so I can expect 5 points from him this week.
How do you feel about Ezekiel Elliott versus Tony Pollard? Because I've been seeing a lot of the literature saying that Pollard is the better running back.
That literature is stupid.
Let's see. Pollard had 11 points on 11 attempts last week. Elliott had 6.9 points on 12 attempts. So there's literally splitting attempts.
Yeah. And the only reason you got 11 points is because you got a touchdown. But, yeah, how do I feel about it? I feel bad. There's no way that Zeke is sharing carries, but that whole team is just in flames, right? Like their O-line is terribly injured. They're using the Red Rocket. It's just all sorts of fucked. But I actually do think that Zeke is in better shape than the beginning of the season. I agree with Stu. He looks kind of fat coming into the season. And I think he's now like finally getting into form. He's pulling off some of those Zeke hurt you runs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's too little too late. So maybe I'll pull a card out of Scott's deck and start both of them. No, I won't do
Wow. Would you go back to the well with Zeke next year after having him this year?
It depends on where the pick would be.
Where would you take him?
In the latter half of the first round or turn of the second? Sure. But just emotionally, probably not. It's such a bummer because I guess it all really depends on Dak, because before Dak's injury, if you look at, you can see that it's the tale of two seasons. Up through week 5, Zeke's averaging like 18, 19 points. And then the following 4 weeks, it's 8 points a week. That's so tough to like deal with.
It's an interesting conundrum to have this year. I had the opportunity to draft Chubb after having him last year, and I basically talked myself out of it. And then now I regret it, right? Taking Mixon over Chubb. So be wary. the
Emotional.
Yeah. God, what phrase am I looking for? Yeah, don't. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I would be wary to take Zeke next year. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't fault you for your decision with the context going into draft weekend because of Kareem Hunt, right? Like there was all this hype. Kareem Hunt looks great. Nick Chubb is also great, but they're going to eat into each other's time, right? So you were going with bell cows, or what you thought were bell cows. So I still support your decision, despite the injury, unfortunate, malfortune,
The
the unfortunate luck.
phrase I was looking for is a hell hath no fury like a weaver scorned.
Yeah, man, I miss those days. Let's go play Frisbee again.
I'm taking Scott in this matchup. He just put up 150 points. I think his team is now the team that we thought he was, and he might get Julio back. So even if Rojo doesn't play, he can just play those 4 baller receivers that we've been talking about all year. Not to mention he has Aguilar the cock ring available on his bench, who's also been on one and plays the Clippers, who have a terrible defense somehow against wide receivers, although they have like a bunch of former All-Pros in their secondary. Not that I care. Okay, so let's see. I'm taking Scott. Let's see what the coin thinks.
Come on, coin. Bet on me
Weaver
now.
is heads. Weaver's heads. Scott is tails.
God.
Heads.
Also, this is super fun. My quarterback controversy, I get to choose between Matt Ryan and facing the Buccaneers, which he historically has done terrible against, or Cam Newton against Miami, whose defense has been really freaking good recently, except for last week against the Rams.
If I was a podcaster not giving you advice, I would choose one of those guys.
But I've done well with choosing them since I've had them both. I started Cam when he's put up his 23. Actually, no, I fucked up week 1.
The first time.
Matt Ryan.
Dude, that's so tough though. Like again, I know you had the hate for me, but he is coming off a 24, 16, then 20-point performance. So he had 2 out of 3 weeks, over 20 points.
Yeah.
I did not think he would get 3.96 points.
No. That did me. That was, man. Matt Ryan, you did me dirty this season. He's arguably how my season went astray. If I had a normal quarterback, I would have been good. Fuck it though.
Was your strategy going in to wait as long as possible? Like, what round did you take him? And like, what was your quarterback thought process?
See, I was planning on waiting, but I got shook after Max took Russell Wilson right before me. I was going to take Russell round 6. Then I pivoted to Philip Lindsay. Ugh. And then Stu took Deshaun Watson. Pebbles took Kyler Murray around the turn. So I was like, fuck. Well, now I have to wait because there's no quarterback remotely close to this. Turns out Josh Allen was the answer there. But
And I got Buckaroo Allen. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah. Yeah, so basically it was like I lost out on Russ. I got shook. Running back was a weakness because I only had Zeke at that point. So I went Philip Lindsay and then took a shot on Dobbins, rookie running back with a lot of hype. And then, yeah, then it just became the super waiting game. And then I fucked up taking him. I think I took him over Aaron Rodgers. Terrible decision. Yeah. Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady in the 11th. I gifted Brad, Kelsey, and Rodgers. Oh, I could be in the semis.
And now he's in the semis. Yeah. Look at that. Next matchup, we got Bill and we got Pebbles. So this one is now as irrelevant as those in this non-Sacco ship. So right now, Bill has a 10-point Bush. Looking at lineups we got. Wilson versus Murray. I mean, we talked about how Murray is in a slump currently. He's playing Philadelphia, who now they're a little bit resurgent after Hurts is now getting the start. It's funny to see Pebble starting Gallup. He was someone who I was one of those like, maybe I take a flyer on him. I don't know. Currently in Pebble's starting lineup, I wonder if it'll stay in there. I mean, he actually has Galladay, who has some Bush points right now, but who knows if he's going to get in that game. What happened to Galladay is very akin to what happened to Mixon, where he's just been like strung along. Maybe he'll play next week and then like never comes back.
Yeah. Do you remember all the hype that Gallup got in the preseason?
I want to draft him. I definitely wanted to draft him.
He was like the number one value pick heading into the draft.
It seems like Dalton has much more of a rapport with him than Dak did.
Yeah, though still put up 3 points last week, 7 points the week before, 4 points the week before. Still shitty, but
yeah, I mean, over that time though, he got 6, 11, and then 8 targets. Like there is some volume there.
Some opportunity.
The opportunity, man. Yeah, I'm going to take Bill in this one because Eckler is back and firing on all cylinders. The Wilson and Lockett stack. Like it's hard to bet against that one. And Deontay Johnson, even though he had like 100 drops in that game, he still has the opportunity. And they're playing the Bengals, who are not good. Actually, this is really interesting because Bill has both Wilson, Lockett, and the Seattle defense against the football team. That's going to be a sneaky good game on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas on Pebble's side, I mean, you got Robinson going against the Baltimore defense. That's not a good matchup, although Chubb and Hunt just fucking destroyed them. Harris is questionable against Miami, another good defense. Yeah, I'm taking Bill.
Gosh. I had selected Pebbles before seeing Gallup and Antonio Brown in his lineup, but I will roll with my pre-podcast selection and still go with him. Super fun. This could come down to another Bill Monday Night Miracle with Deontay Johnson. How fun. That's what I'm going for.
Something that – okay, so you're taking Pebbles. Before we get to the coin, the Chicken Ranch bet has been decided. It is official. I think we would be remiss as podcasters not to talk about that.
Yeah, huge storyline from that Marquise Brown touchdown.
It's pretty funny. O'Malley made that event, like Bill's chicken event in the group me, and like we kept getting like notifications, but at those notification times, O'Malley was still losing that matchup, and so it was not confirmed. And then the miracle touchdown, Lamar Jackson is like 5 pounds lighter after taking that giant dump.
Yeah, we all are familiar with that waddle. That's the I got a poop waddle.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We've all been there. Yeah, it's just like for whatever reason didn't work pregame, and now you got to take care of it.
Yeah, watching him running around celebrating both the kick and his touchdown pass. Like that's not the celebration of somebody that's cramping or has even cramped recently. You know, like I'm sure the argument against that is like they would have hooked him up to some fluids and, you know.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, devil's advocate is they have state of the art. It's not like us during Aviator games where we run to the sideline and chug some pickle juice or have like a half a banana or something. Like they're getting state of the art attention.
Yeah. I actually was confused by the event. I'm glad that you had alluded to it being Monday night. I don't know. I'm glad you brought it up right now because I never connected the dots with O'Malley creating the event to beat Bill on Monday Night Football to send him to the interview. I thought that it was actually like
The interview.
yeah.
O'Malley's going out of his way. O'Malley's like Bill's agent. Like, all right, I set up your interview. It's for 8:30 p.m. on a Monday night.
I was so confused, man. That's so funny. I feel like an airhead.
Bill, when you listen to this podcast, can you share with us in the group me what your application plans are, when we can expect to witness this interview, how you plan to secretly get us involved, like, walk us through your mental state during this.
With our newfound Zoom powers, maybe we should call him into the podcast for a little segment next week.
Oh shit. Oh, I thought, okay, for a second there I thought you meant like secret record the interview, which would be next level. But yeah, I like that. I'm gonna write that down. Call Bill into the podcast. Guest star Bill. What are the chances Bill has Zoom capabilities?
Pretty likely.
Yeah.
So he might like get rid of all of his technology when he murders Becca after her reaction on Monday.
Dude, that was interesting. Okay, yes. So, Bill, newsflash: all girlfriends hate Frisbee touchdown. Kids think no one cares about it except for us. Girlfriends want us to spend more time with them and not doing fantasy football, which is why I constantly find myself out of town on weekends. I want to play football, want to watch football.
I would pay money to watch you play.
No. Okay. Oh, wait, before we move on. Dude, my body can barely hold itself together playing Ultimate. Okay. Pebbles is the heads and Bill is the tails. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's an athlete, folks. I went for a run. Me and Ashley went for a walk, and I would just like run up the hill and run back to her. You dropped it again? Jeez Louise.
Your story about running up a hill distracted me.
Lay off the nog, bro.
And I'm about to finish this whole entire nog. Heads, Pebbles.
Yes, Babs. That's my guy. Yeah, and I felt terrible. Awful. My heart hurt, my lungs hurt, my just chest, all of it. It made me like question, like, have I had COVID? Because I can't even run far enough for my muscles to feel sore or to break a sweat. Like, man, I need to really get back on it.
At my company, we have like shared team channel because we're like work from home and people have like you're going like in and out all day, either on their meetings or like just shit at home. Also, there are people like in different time zones, so we kind of throw in there when we're not going to be working. Like, hey, I'm going to grab coffee, or I'm going to go get lunch, or I'm going to go watch the sunset, but I'll be back on later. So a lot of times I'll put in that channel, I'm going for like a quick run before our stand-up meeting together, I'll back for the meeting. A few days ago, there's a girl on my team who she actually is in Santa Barbara, but she starts at like 6:30 a.m. for some reason. She put in the Slack channel, hey, I'm going for a run. We'll be back for our team meeting. And so like an hour later, I do the same thing. I'm like, hey, I'm taking her example. I'm going to go for a run. I'll be back for the meeting. And then she comments on my message, oh, how far did you go? And I put, I went 2.8 miles, quick run before the meeting, kind of still feeling the weekend, LOL. How far did you go? And she just said 7.2. I was like, oh, okay. Sweet. I guess I won't share when I'm going running anymore. Maybe lay off the nog. I don't know.
That's
yeah,
good.
Shit sucks. I keep telling myself I'm going to become a teetotaler, and then Monday Night Football comes along, Tuesday night podcasting comes along, Wednesday night fireside chats at the U come along,
And D&D.
and D&D. You have to drink for that, obviously. In any case, 2021, right? Let's put that goal. All right, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Oh yeah, cheers. Pink. Sacco shit, baby. My oh my, am I happy not to be in this game?
I don't blame you. Me too.
I've taken this season has been like one just terrible thing after another, and I'm happy to be rid of the stress finally. It would be a mess if I had to play in this game.
I love to hate to see it. I would have loved to hate to see you in this matchup. I love to hate to see these two in the matchup because I firmly believe that one of them will have their curse lifted and they will return to their fantasy glory. And I don't know if I'm ready for Adam to return to his LeBron James days in fantasy. But I'm choosing him. So it will be Max that will be reversing his curse, having cursed Adam. I think that Max is in a real rough spot with Antonio Gibson and James Conner being like questionably injured or whatever's going on with James Conner. He seems to be unpredictable, which is very interesting because he had actually proposed a trade early on in the season. Zeke, when I was trying to like fill out depth for my team, he had offered Connor and somebody else for Zeke. I think it was maybe Connor and Wussel for Zeke.
Wow.
That could be wrong, but something along those lines. And I was just like, no, I can't get rid of the heart and soul of my team. Hindsight, fuck me. Anyways, James Conner, he's kind of annoying. I think that Max's team is really hurting. You don't know if you're going to get a double-digit performance out of Mike Evans or a 1.5 point performance. That's kind of tough. Cole Beasley has actually been the unsung hero of this squad.
Really good. Yeah, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the trade between Max and Bill and how when that happened, we were all flabbergasted. Bill getting 4 players, Max getting 3 players, Max trading away Russell and Fournette, who was coming off some big weeks, and Cooks and Williams, all of whom had been boomy at that time. And now fast forward, and Williams is putting up goose eggs. Cooks is injured, so it's hard to really quantify that. But Jackson seemed to have come into his own, whereas Russell has kind of been on the downturn. And Beasley, yeah, like you're saying, Beasley is crushing it. Beasley is having a renaissance. Only 6.6 points last week, but still getting 10 targets. It's huge.
It's actually, that trade reminds me of a question that you asked 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe last week. I don't know. Time, right? Are there any rule changes that I'm happy with? I'm happy that we abolished the voting on trades because that's a trade that would have got turned down. And, I think that both owners were on board with it. And it actually is heavily in favor of Max when we all thought that Max was getting fleeced. And it just kind of goes to show how we shouldn't really be able to control the trades of other teams when both managers clearly have something that they're trying to achieve. Yeah. So that is the only rule change that I truly am happy about in our league.
I actually was thinking about that recently too, and I agree with you. I remember making a trade with Evan that was vetoed by majority vote and then later went through. I traded him the Falcons defense for Jacksonville starting running back. Falcons defense was the number 2 scoring defense. I had the Bears, who were the number 1 scoring defense. It was like the fill-in starter because the starter was injured, and it got vetoed. And I was so upset. I was like, "How is this fair that other people are determining if I can trade players or not?" Mm-hmm. This trade ended up being moot. Like both squads, or at least the Atlanta Falcons defense and the running back, were mediocre at best going forward. But I remember being so frustrated like that. If we had a grouping back then, I would have quit the grouping because of that. That's how fucking upset I was. I was like upset, like complaining to my girlfriend how upset I was. Upset, right? Like I'm talking about bullshit fantasy football to
Yeah,
who doesn't care about it.
she's your only. That's brutal.
Yeah, I just wanted to be fair. I'm also taking Adam, which makes me kind of sad because I chose Adam to be my Sacco last week. But at that time, I thought I would also be in this game. I didn't want to bet against myself to win the Sacco. After seeing what happened last week, and after seeing Max's team be carried by Lamar and Adam's team put up like a solid week, even though Adam's running backs are questionable right now, Gordon has a surprise Q, and Jacobs did not do well last week, and he's playing on a short week this week on Thursday. Adam has Fournette on his bench, which he could slot in there after Rojo has his finger issues. X's team is hurting. You can't expect to get almost 30 points out of Lamar every week. I don't really get the Josh Reynolds play. Reynolds has been not good for the last few weeks. And like there's got to be a better flex option out there. So that's puzzling. But we'll see. I mean, Max almost got the W this past week with the lineup he had. So anything can happen in fantasy like we're talking about. I do agree with you that James Conner is not the bell cow running back that he was sold to be. Same with the fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I'm taking Adam as well.
Yeah, just kind of playing devil's advocate for the Josh Reynolds thing. You talked a lot about opportunity. Before last week, he had 10 targets, 6 targets, 6 targets, then 1. I think you give that guy another chance, last weekend. But now after seeing 1 target, 2 targets, now you can cut bait for sure. And I think most people update their roster a little bit later in the week, right? We'll probably see some sort of free agency move here. Biggest thing for me on Adam's team is the big surprise with how consistently good Wayne Gallman has been. I talked about it, I think, recently in a podcast. That's just shocking. Something that I wanted nothing to do with. And it'll be pretty funny if Gallman is the difference and Adam not getting Sacco. And it's possible that he gets DJ Moore back. I haven't really heard any news on his COVID status, but he should be on his way back, right? Like, that's kind of been the rule. Sit out 1 week and then you're chill. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That is interesting. Speaking of DJ Moore, who I drafted and traded to Adam, I dropped Henderdog this past weekend.
Good for you.
Cam Akers' ascension is cemented and complete, and Henderdog is no more. So I probably will be losing that bet to Adam shortly.
I'm proud of you. Cutting bait.
Right now I can throw Gus Edwards in there too. Also let me down. But we'll see. Okay. Last coin of the evening. Adam is heads, Max is tails. I'm pretty sure this has been all heads. Let me see. Bacon, heads. Oh, no, Brad was tails. Okay. Okay. Adam heads, Max tails. It's heads. Coin is picking Adam. Everyone picks Adam, which means Adam might be the Sacco. Closing thoughts on this pod. Oh, actually, before you go. So to update, last weekend we all chose our Saccos and champs. Weaver, you chose Max as your Sacco, which is still in the running. Stu chose myself, so
suck it, Stu. Yeah.
And I chose Adam, which is also still in the running, although against my pick this week. And we all took Stu as our champion. Both you and Stu took him over O'Malley in the finals, where I did not name the other team. But Stu is still in the running, although all of you and I and the coin chose Bacon to win this matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, how fun. You want to put another bucket?
On the Sacco ship?
Yeah.
I don't want to put a bucket on it because we already owe all these buckets and they're never happening. But I'm happy to throw something else on it.
Baby, it's cold outside. I'm down to do
How about
a
this? Oh, wait, what was yours?
shot bet.
Okay, how about a shot bet and the loser has to attempt to break the speed record of the U disc golf course?
That's funny. Sure. What is the record at? Bacon said it, right?
No.
You said it?
Well, he said it, and then I promptly beat him. Although I don't think Bacon tried nearly as hard as I did when I was doing it. I think I did it like 1:27, minute 27 second. But this would be an attempt, and by doing it, you have to. I think we also stipulated you have to par or better each hole. You can't bogey.
Well, that's just layup, dunk it, layup, dunk it, layup, dunk it. That's silly.
I mean, you still have to sprint. It's an attempt, right? So attempt to break the speed record.
Ooh. What if we threw on some extracurriculars? Like if you birdie one, then that's minus 10 seconds.
Deal. Okay. That's a lot of seconds. 10 seconds.
Well, that was.
But then trying to, you're focusing a little bit more.
We're in what is this now? 9 months of pandemic body versus you did this at the beginning of the pandemic where you were still working out for aviators.
Yeah, but yes, that's very true.
That's a lot of back and forth. How many steps is it?
It's a couple hundred. I think it works out to like a tenth of a mile.
Okay. Well,
again, it's an attempt. You don't have to break the record. You just have to attempt.
I mean,
you got to sprint through it.
I mean, I will be sprinting very slowly, very soon.
Yes, because okay, so this is on the Sacco winner, not our actual picks, because we're both taking Adam to win this, even though I took Adam. God damn it. Okay, whatever.
One of us attempts the disc golf while the other one takes a shot as a spectator.
I think both people have to take a shot. This is a shot plus attempt. Disc golf attempt. Hold on, I'm typing. All right, we're shaking. All right, we're thanking Kurt for the jingle. Let's cheers one more time before we get out of here. All right, bro. Chachos. The end is near.
Yep.
Congratulations, oh Miles and Bacon. From the bottom of the pack, both of them finished up in last. Headed off the Sacco ship and now they getting after his Zones and Stu. What you gonna do? Just don't get complacent. It's the People's Pod, week 15. Collin, Aaron, Weaver make a bitchin' team. Drinking a bouquet, everything's okay. Just can't quite replace them.